I was told that being quote unquote progressive meant going forward, not backward. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a Denver elementary school that has a very interesting sign right out in front. And if you saw the sign, you might think that you went into a time machine unbeknownst to you, and you wound up in 1930, 1940 USA, or maybe it's a joke, it's a prank. Some kids from a rival school went out there and did that to make this school look bad. But no. The year is correct. It's 2021. And this sign is 100% real. It is not Photoshop. You're not in the Twilight Zone. You're not dreaming. And I'll link to my evidence in the description box below. Now, here is the sign in question. And if you're not watching the video, it reads Centennial Elementary Families of Color Playground Night, Wednesday, 12/8/4 p.m. Now, this particular event on this night was canceled because of the virus, allegedly. But they've been doing this event for quite a while now, okay? And shout out to Christopher Rufo for posting this picture. He's been really instrumental in this fight against CRT and racism being brought back to school. So shout out to him. But this is really crazy because how do we have stuff like this in 2021? I thought that, especially in a place like Denver, you would not see a thing like this. This is segregation, 100%. I mean, because look at it on the other way. What if it said families of European heritage or white families? Because let's be clear. Let's understand what this is. This ain't quote unquote families of color. It's about black families. And I'll give you some evidence for that in just a moment. So I ain't just assume that. I looked it up. It's about black families. And it was requested by the black families. Matter of fact, let's get into it right now before we even get into anything else. Let's go ahead and put this up right here. This is on a Daily Caller. And again, I'll link to this article in the description box below, but you see it. Denver Public Schools claims black families requested racially segregated playground night. That's what they wanted. And the reason why, without getting into the article to really read it, is because they wanted a space that's just for them, because they don't really see each other too much. They see each other when they go to the school and pick up the kids, maybe, but they're not in the same neighborhoods with each other. So they wanted to have this specific night to be able to kind of get together, hang out with the kids, kind of a safe space for black folks. That's what they want, right? Now, without really defending them too much, but just to give you a little bit of context in case you don't know, once you go out west, it's not that many black folks. Once you leave like Memphis and cross Mississippi River, it ain't that many black folks in the western part of the U.S. So like California, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, there's not a whole lot of black folks. So what they want is a space that's just for them. Now, to that, I would say, hey, you could just go to, I don't know, Atlanta. There's plenty of black folks out there. Oh, but no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. A lot of them come from back east. A lot of them come from a place like Chicago or New York or Atlanta. And they move far away, like to Phoenix, Colorado, like Denver, Colorado, or somewhere in Northern California, Oregon. They moving away from the black folks. But at the same time, they want to have this little black space. It's kind of weird to me. It's like the same people that talk about how they want black this, black that, then don't go to a black college. They go to like a 99.9% white college. Funny how that works. But for now, I digress. The whole point is that there's not that many black folks out there, and they want a black little safe space. Is it racist? It's got to be racist, because look at it the other way. What if they said this is a white family only night? Oh, man, everybody would stand up and take notice. You would have the NAACP on deck. You would have ACLU, SPLC, the federales, the state government, city government, the police. It'd be like it'd be a SWAT team coming to break that up, because that's racist, right? Having a white only event, but having a black only event at school is totally fine. Now, don't get it twisted. Like if you have like these, if you have adults that have things like, let's say, for example, like the NAACP, if they want to throw an event and it's black centered, that's one thing. But when you have schools segregated like this, that's not okay, especially when the classrooms themselves are segregated. That's not cool at all. When you have kids separated by their race in the class, because, I mean, where are we going with that? You're going to have black schools, white schools, black classes, white classes, Asian, Hispanic, all this and that. It's weird. And then they get tricky with the words, people of color. That doesn't necessarily mean non-white, because I saw, it might have been in California or somewhere else, where they're saying Asians don't count as people of color. Now, what does Asian mean? I'm not really sure. I would suppose that you're talking about the obvious ones, people that live like China, Japan. That's Asian. People that look like, Chinese people. Not that to be racist, but you understand what I'm saying. The skin color, the eyes, or whatever. What about people from the Indian subcontinent? That's Asia too. So are they included in Asians? Now you got some Indians that's as dark as I am. They look just like me, but they got straight wavy hair. So are they not people of color, but I am? How does that make any sense? Like, what you really want to say is that their whites and Asians are better than blacks and Hispanics, and you're trying to eliminate that gap. You're trying to reduce the gap in the performance as far as the GPA and behavior and things of that nature by separating them. And that was the exact same reason why it was done back in the day. So are we really progressing or not? I would say this as I close. If students aren't performing well when it comes to academics, when it comes to their behavior, then that's on them. There's no need to separate people in class to try and fix that problem. Okay, if they can't get right, then they can't get right. That's not an excuse to segregate. It's just not the reality, right? And then also, when you have these types of events at school and it's fine, then it's got to be fine all the way around. You got to have a white event only, no people of color. That means no blacks, no Hispanics, no Asians, nobody. And that should be fine. And if that's fine, then we've just totally eliminated all of what we have done during civil rights era. And then the question would be, was civil rights even worth it? And when people say, oh, we fought so hard back then and we were getting water hoses turned on us, all this and that, the same people that say that also want a safe space for black folks. They also want segregation. So you can't hold on to the pain of the civil rights era if you want to undo all of what was done during that era. You can't hold on to it. You can no longer use that as a chip on your shoulder. You can't do it. Either the civil rights era was good and what came from it was what you want, or it was useless and you want to go back to the way things were before integration and desegregation, whatever you want to call it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's happening here at the Denver area school? Is it a good thing, bad thing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments. Here's a question. How would it go if it were the other way around? If it were a white only thing, how would that go? Would you be in favor of it? Would you be against it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments. Where I stand is this. If you really want to get past all this racism stuff, then everybody's got to get on the same page, period. We got to have kind of one unifying culture, and we got to figure out what that is. When you have all these different cultures kind of floating around, people not getting along, people not able to understand each other, different dialects, different just behavior patterns, when that's going on and they're in the same place together, this is going to happen. You're going to have a black night. You're going to have mostly white night. That's just what it is. If the races are so different that they can't get along on one accord, if there's one unifying culture, if everybody's on the same page, then you're able to move forward. You're able to move forward, but until that point, you're just not going to have it. And ultimately, I think that in school, this shouldn't really be allowed because you're placing things on kids that they might not want for themselves. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like this whole thing of these kids going LGBT at an early age, or, taking certain pills to become a certain way. I don't know. It's kind of conflicting because some kids might want it, but I think overall it's about the parents. And if these parents are crying about racism, then they can't have a thing like this. Ultimately, to wrap it on up, put the bow on it, if you want to get past racism, if you want to not have so much racial tension, you can't do things to stoke it. You can't do things to further it. That's just what it is. And if you're going to do things to further it, then you can't be upset when it gets further or when it doesn't improve. If you have a black night at the school, there's got to be a white night too, and you can't cry about it. And if that's the case, then that's fine. But we're just going back to prior civil rights. And if you want to do that, just say that. But you can't hold on to the pain of the past while eliminating all of what was done in the past to get you to where you are right now. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.